Hey, how's it going there, guys? So I wanted to record a video of me discussing some of the games I've been playing this year, and I've been playing a decent amount of games. So for this video, I just kind of want to give a little bit of details on each game I've been playing, discuss them, what I liked about them, what I haven't liked about them, and I would say 2022 has been a pretty good year for gaming so far. So let's get into this. So the first game I want to talk about is Horizon Forbidden West, which I would say Horizon Forbidden West is my game of the year thus far, and it's the game I've put the most hours into this year, and it was a game I was really looking forward to. And with this game, I wouldn't say it's like drastically different than the original Horizon Zero Dawn. I feel like with this game they improved a lot of like quality of life functions, and like they improved like the smaller details. Um, One of the things I really like about this game over the previous is one, just traveling through the world, traversing the open world. I feel like it's better. You have more options for which you can climb, and it's not like Breath of the Wild where you can just climb anything, but uh, they give you more options on what you can climb, and I kind of like that there's a little bit more freedom in the climbing. And another thing that has improved from Horizon Zero Dawn is just how like emotive the characters are when you're talking to them. Of course, this is a very dialogue heavy game, a lot of dialogue choices, and you'll be talking to people constantly during missions, during side missions, during whatever. I mean, that's a big part of the gameplay is just these dialogue wheels. And of course, the core combat of fighting against the machines, uh, possessing the machines, or not possessing, but taking control of the machines so they become your ally. I enjoyed that from the original Horizon Zero Dawn, but I think I was able to enjoy the combat more in this entry because, well, I think from a performance level, being able to play in 60 frames just made the gameplay feel a lot more smooth, and going from 30 frames on Horizon Zero Dawn to 60 with this game, I think really made the gameplay play just felt so much more smooth, and it didn't feel. Part of my problem with the gameplay in the first Horizon was I felt like a little bit too chaotic at times, maybe a little bit too fast paced for me, where I was just like, and I still ran into that a little bit with this game, but I felt like at times, uh, in Horizon Zero Dawn, I felt like the combat just fighting against machines got a little bit out of control, and I don't know. It, it I got annoyed fighting the machines a little bit in the original Horizon, and I just feel like they kind of fine tuned the mechanics of this game, and I felt like I had more control of Aloy, and it just, yeah, the 60 frames I felt like just made it feel more, it flowed better. And I played in performance mode, which is how you play in 60 frames, and I tried um, the fidelity mode, and it definitely looked better, but I couldn't do the 30 frames. I've been playing 60 frame games ever since the PS5 launched, and I don't know if I can go back to playing 30 frame games now. It's really hard for my brain to adjust, my eyes to adjust to that now, which is weird because for the longest time I didn't even really mind playing at 30 frames because most games were at 30 frames in the previous generation. But now it's like a lot of games are in 60 frames, which is nice, and I see the benefits of playing in 60 frames now. And talking about the story, um, you know, it's a lot of, it's a big sci-fi story with a lot of different plot lines going on, and at times I did kind of, I wasn't like jiving with it as much as I would like to, but I didn't dislike it. But I these dialogue heavy games like The Witcher, Horizon, Mass Effect, I don't always jive with, just because it's just like, okay, let's wrap up this conversation, you know? And I think part of that is just my level of patience for that, and maybe I'm not giving it a fair shake all the time, but I I thought it was a well written story for the most part. I just wasn't being sucked into it as much as I would like, and maybe I didn't understand it as much as I would like. I'm not like the biggest sci-fi guy either. I mean, I find like the lore of the world Horizon and how it's in a post-apocalyptic world, and how the machines came to be and how they were created, and how Aloy's, minor spoiler alert, is like a descendant of uh, this program in which they had a big impact on the machines. And I try to understand the story, but I'm not going to act like I really understand it a lot, and maybe because I just don't care enough at times. But I know it sounds like I'm being a little bit negative, but I really did enjoy Horizon Forbidden West, and I think it is my favorite game this year. I think the reason I enjoyed it was for the gameplay. I just was able to get myself more into the gameplay with this entry, and I think they did improve upon it, like a lot of the little stuff. And I forgot to mention this accessibility features that allow you to change up the look of the HUD, and I had it in my playthrough, so the HUD was very minimal, and I really liked that. I felt like in Horizon Zero Dawn, the HUD was just very noisy, and it took up way too much of the screen. But with accessibility features in this game, you can really tone it down so it's not so obnoxious. And I did like that, and I felt like I could get more immersed into the game, because I don't know, I just get like OCD about having a small HUD. I don't want to see all these, symbols and markers and radar all over my screen. I just want to get immersed into the world, and I felt like I was able to do that with the accessibility settings that this game does offer. And yeah, and I mean, this game does at the end kind of end on a cliffhanger, so no surprise there's gonna be another Horizon. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, this game is selling well, and the first Horizon sold well, and making a Horizon TV show for Netflix. And yeah, so I enjoy Horizon for the gameplay, and I enjoy certain aspects of the story and lore. I'm not super into the story, but I enjoy just being in the world of Horizon. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I mean, this is my favorite game on PlayStation 5 thus far, and it's my favorite game, I would say, that I've played this a year so far. So I mean, that could change. Fingers crossed we get God of War Ragnarok coming out in November, which is rumored to be coming out in November. So yeah, and I really do like the box art on this game. I don't know, I like it. All right, so Hot Wheels Unleashed. Now, I believe I got this game in, I want to say like October, maybe November of last year. And I used to have Hot Wheels when I was younger, and I did also have a Hot Wheels game on like a PC back in the early 2000s when I was very young. But this game is just really fun, and it's fun to just drive on these crazy tracks, and it's obviously an arcadey racer, which I think I enjoy arcadey racers more than the heavy simulation racers. And there's a lot of cars that you can collect, and you can customize the look of the cars. I mean, this game is just fun. It doesn't do anything that I would say is original that you haven't seen before, but it's just really fun, and it's a pretty good looking game too. The graphics are pretty good, and I should mention the graphics in Horizon Forbidden West are really good too, which I forgot to mention. Probably best looking game on PS5, but this game surprised me for its graphics as well. I mean, it's not as good looking as Horizon, but it's a different art style than Horizon. But I really do enjoy this game as just like a chill, fun game to play from time to time. There's a lot of races in the main story mode, which I forget what they call it. I did play a little bit of the online mode when the game first came out. So I've been kind of playing this game like off and on this year, and it's probably gonna be a game I just play off and on for many years to come. So I mean, don't be fooled thinking this is a kid's game, because anyone at any age can enjoy this game. It's just fun. It's really fun, and it's not that hard to learn, and it's just like it's the wipeouts in this game are kind of funny too. It's just the game is not easy either, I would say, because of how easy it is to wipe out in this game. If you wipe out, that can really mess you up in the races. And I do play this game on easy just because it's just kind of like a chill podcast game for me. I just like to have fun, win races, upgrade my cars, customize my cars. You know, it's one of those type of games. I'm not going to take it too seriously, but Hot Wheels Unleashed, I definitely recommend. It's just good fun for anyone. So if you're into arcade racers, and or if you like Hot Wheels, you had Hot Wheels as a kid, which I did. I had a huge collection. I don't know, maybe 200 of them as a kid. I think you could find enjoyment out of this. All right, so I don't know if I have too much to say with this next game, but MLB The Show 22. And if you watch some of my previous videos, you would know I'm a big sports fan, a big baseball fan, and MLB The Show is the only sports franchise video game that I buy yearly now. I used to be that guy that would buy Madden, NBA 2K every year, but I don't do that with Madden and NBA 2K anymore. But I do that with MLB The Show, and you know, MLB The Show, I really only play Road to the Show now, which I kind of feel like I probably should play a little bit more than Road to the Show, but I'm just so addicted to Road to the Show, and it's just I find it so enjoyable and fun to just go through the minors, go through your career, and help your teams win, and put up stats and try to become an all-time great Hall of Famer. And it's the ultimate chill game. It's a game I mean, the MLB The Show franchise is probably the franchise I put more hours into than any other video game franchise. There's so many nights where I just come back from work where I just want to play something chill and relax, and like a baseball game, and I'll play Road to the Show, and I'll listen to a few podcasts or watch some TV shows on my iPad while I'm playing MLB The Show. And it's a very good like time killer game too, and it's not a game where I really have to be that engrossed into it to play well. You know, it's one of those games where been playing it for so long, like I could probably play this game in my sleep at this point. Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's one of those good chill games that you can play and have other entertainment going on at the same time. And I kind of like just having that type of experience from this game. And I used to play a good amount of franchise mode. I'm not big into Diamond Dynasty. I have tried it at times. But yeah, Road to the Show, I love it. And franchise mode, I may go back to from time to time. And I don't know. I don't feel like they're putting enough into franchise mode. I think it's also partly franchise mode. You have to put in more work. And Road to the Show is just, I don't feel overwhelmed when I'm playing Road to the Show. It's just get into a game. I'm just controlling one character and trying to get him better. And it's like the ultimate sports RPG. And I just love Road to the Show. But yeah, I maybe I don't need to buy this game every year. But I really do just enjoy just the gameplay and how well it simulates baseball. And I think it's always been a graphical showcase, and The animations are pretty great too, which I can't say that about all sports games. So yeah, MLB The Show 22, enjoying it. Another year of great show game. So all right, so some of you may know that I'm a big Naughty Dog fan and a big Uncharted fan. So Legacy of Thieves Collection, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection came out pretty early this year. I believe it came out in January. And if you don't know, this is a remastered set of Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy. And when I first got this game, I was like in the mindset of getting all the trophies because this has a huge trophy list, and I was kind of just like, I want to go for the challenge there of getting all 100 trophies, and I didn't achieve that, or I haven't achieved that at this point. I've only played through Uncharted 4, and I'm trying to do a crushing playthrough of Uncharted 4, which I haven't. I kind of put that on the back burner for other games. But you have to play the game on crushing and beat it on crushing to get one of the trophies. And I don't know at this point if I'm going to try to go for all 100 trophies, or is it 101? It's something absurd. But I'm a huge Uncharted fan. I enjoyed Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy on PS4. It's nice to be able to play these games in 60 frames now, which wasn't on the PS4. And I gotta say, the DualShock controller with its adaptive triggers and haptic feedback is great. I mean, when you're driving in the Jeep in one of the Uncharted 4 segments, it feels so realistic driving. Like when you're driving in like mud and you drive on different areas, like you drive on a rocky area, you drive in a muddy area, a grass area. Like it feels different each area that you drive in. It's really a good showcase for an awesome controller in the DualSense. And I am just loving the DualSense controller. And at first I was on the fence about the haptics and the adaptive triggers. I thought maybe it was a little gimmicky, but the more I get used to it and play it, it's like, no, this is not a gimmick. This adds an extra dimension to games, and I really think the Xbox controller is missing out on these features that the DualSense does have. And yeah, so I want to get back to the remastered double pack, whatever you want to call it. Here, I haven't played Uncharted The Lost Legacy remastered yet, so I'm probably next time I play this, I'm probably just gonna go right to that and not worry about the trophies. I've been becoming more of a trophy hunter. So yeah. And this game, you can actually play it up to 120 FPS if you have the proper TV, which I don't. And I think it would scale it down to 1080p resolution. That may be kind of interesting to try if I ever get a 120 refresh rate on my television. But yeah, huge Naughty Dog fan, huge Uncharted fan, and I had to have this, like the box art. And I'm looking forward to getting back to it. Alright, so I recently got by Alan Wake Remastered, and if you saw my unboxing video for this game, you would know that I hadn't played Alan Wake before. This originally came out in 2010, only on the Xbox 360, and later they did port it to PC. I don't think it came out to PC right away. But I wanted to play Alan Wake Remastered because I became a fan of Remedy, which they developed this game, and I became a fan of Remedy after playing Control in 2019, and Control is just a great game. It's one of my favorite games from PlayStation 4. Very cool atmosphere to it, and the gameplay I quite enjoyed with its telekinesis abilities that you have as playing as what's her name? What's her name? Jessie. I can't remember her last name, but I enjoyed Control a lot, and I just love the atmosphere and vibes I got from that game, and the gameplay was great, and the story was very I was somehow interested by the story, even though it was very like trippy and kind of confusing. And Alan Wake, there's some similarities definitely between Alan Wake and Control. It has a very cool atmosphere. It's like a psychological thriller like Control. My biggest problem with Alan Wake and why I did not enjoy it as much as Control is just I'm not crazy about the combat. I mean, the combat most of the time is you're going around with a flashlight and you're aiming it at these dark creatures and you have to like shine it on them until they have like this shield where they can't be hurt, and you have to shine it on them until their shield breaks from shining the light on them, and then you have to shoot them, and that's when you can uh, kill them. And I don't know. At times I was okay with the combat, but a lot of times I was just like, this is kind of stupid. I don't know. I wasn't crazy about the combat in this game. But the game has a cool atmosphere, and the story is kind of trippy, and just like Control, it's kind of endearing. And Alan Wake is this author, and you hear his narration throughout the game, which could sometimes be a little bit annoying, but at most of the time I didn't mind it. And it's actually been confirmed that Alan Wake and Control are set in the same universe, and there's been like DLC that I didn't play with Alan Wake. So yeah, I mean, Alan Wake Remastered, I really don't have a lot to say. I got by it, and I'm gonna play the sequel. I hope they do improve the combat or make the combat a little bit more fun. And you know, this is a remastered of a 2010 game, and I could definitely tell it was a 2010 game. You definitely see some wrinkles in it. Some of the facial animations and just how people would look, and just even some of the dialogue wasn't the best. And I thought the game could be a little janky at times. But it wasn't like terrible in the jank. But I believe this is set in place in Maine. It felt like a Maine town to me. But yeah, I like the atmosphere of it, and I like the vibe similar to Control that I got from it. But I don't like it as much as Control, just because I don't enjoy the core gameplay as much. And I think the game had some quirky characters, memorable characters. But yeah, Alan Wake Remastered. I would say if Control was a 9 out of 10 for me, this is maybe a 7.5 out of 10, maybe 8. So it's not a bad game. I think it showed a little bit of its age, and hopefully they can improve some stuff in the sequel. All right, so I'm currently playing Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, and this is just the remastered version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I know that's kind of a mouthful, the remastered version of a remake. But I originally played Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4 in 2020. I want to say maybe like 80% through the game, maybe 75%. And I think that was right before The Last of Us Part 2 came out. So I put this down, and I kind of regret that, because I really do enjoy this game. And I never played the original Final Fantasy VII. I haven't played too many Final Fantasies. I played Final Fantasy 15 for a decent amount of hours. Then I kind of lost interest in Final Fantasy 15, got kind of bored. But I think with this game, this will be the first Final Fantasy game that I play to completion. So I'm glad I picked this up, and I really like the box art with like the white PS5 tag there. I think that looks kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy VII is, one of the classic PlayStation games, and, a classic PlayStation 1 game that really put, I would say, the PlayStation on the map. Or it was one of the defining games that put the PlayStation on the map. Back in 1997, I believe that came out. I mean, I think I've had friends over the years that I've seen play Final Fantasy VII, but I've never like played it through completion. And I've of course I've seen plenty of gameplay videos of it. So like if you showed me Final Fantasy VII from the PS1, I would know it's Final Fantasy VII. But this game, I enjoy the combat, and I'm glad it's not turn-based combat like the old Final Fantasy games. And I know some people are really into turn-based combat, especially older gamers who grew up on it. But for me, I'm not used to turn-based combat, so the few games that I have played in with turn-based combat, it's just like, what is this? Uh, I enjoy the combat of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and yeah, I'm not too far into the game now. In my second playthrough, I'm about I may be 8 hours in at this point, so I'm not that far. So I'm looking forward to diving deeper into this. And of course, this actually includes a DLC episode with, I believe, Yuffie, who is actually one of the characters that they used in Kingdom Hearts, which of course Kingdom Hearts combines Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters. And that was, Kingdom Hearts was really my introduction to Square Enix. And I used to be a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, like when I was a kid, when I was younger. But I think I've kind of like grown out of Kingdom Hearts, but I kind of feel like with Final Fantasy, this could be like my adult Kingdom Hearts series. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more mature. It's a little bit more gritty. Of course, it's, it's not exactly The Last of Us in terms of tone, obviously, but it's definitely not the same tone as Kingdom Hearts, which is, I'm not saying Kingdom Hearts is like children's game, but it's, it's suited more towards a younger crowd, and anyone can play Kingdom Hearts, but I don't know if anyone can play Final Fantasy. Well, maybe. I don't know what I'm saying, but I would definitely say Final Fantasy is more of a mature tone to it than Kingdom Hearts. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and I'm enjoying this. It's a good looking game. The graphics are great, and the characters have a lot of personality too. Yeah, so I'm enjoying playing this again, and I'm looking forward to just getting this off my bucket list of games I wanted to complete, because this is probably, of all the games I didn't complete from the PS4, which there are many, this is probably my favorite that I haven't completed. And they recently Square Enix did announce the sequel to this, so they're actually remaking the original Final Fantasy VII game into a trilogy. So this is actually the first game in the trilogy. And so they're really expanding the story and really drawing the story out. And they're changing some stuff about the story. And of course, the gameplay and the graphics are completely different. And so they're going to be coming out with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which people thought that they were going to call it Remake Part 2, but I guess they're calling it Rebirth instead of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And they have Final Fantasy Tactics they're re-releasing as well. So I'm looking forward to diving into Rebirth when that comes out. But first, I obviously have to finish this. And you have Final Fantasy 16 coming out next year as well, which I'm looking forward to. So I get to feel in the next like year and a half, 2 years, I'm going to be playing a lot of Final Fantasy. And I feel like I'm becoming a Final Fantasy fan, and I barely even touched the surface of Final Fantasy, because there's a lot of games to play of Final Fantasy that I've missed out on through the years. So yeah, I don't have much more to say about this, but I'm enjoying it. Okay, so guys, I want to just briefly talk about some of the Xbox games I've played for my Series X. And I do need to say something about the Series X. I have not turned it on since February of this year, and I'm recording this. Today is July 2nd. So a little bit surprising that I haven't turned it on since then, but I'm a PlayStation guy, and I thought, last year I kind of thought maybe like half the time I'll play my Xbox, which is my first Xbox Series X, and half the time I'll play my PlayStation 5. But I'm just more integrated into the PlayStation ecosystem. I enjoy getting trophies more than achievements. I love the DualSense controller. It's nothing against Xbox. I think Xbox has a lot of great things coming down the line, I should say, and they have a lot of exclusive games that I'm looking forward to, like Starfield, and I enjoy Halo, which I want to talk about Halo Infinite. So I got Halo Infinite at launch, and I played the multiplayer beta back in November. But with Halo Infinite, it was one of those games I was enjoying just the gameplay in the multiplayer and just playing that bunch of matches. I played a bunch of matches in November, December, and parts of January. And I did have fun playing the different game modes. I was better than I thought I would be. I wouldn't say I'm a pro level Halo player by any means. But I'm not a big first person shooter gamer, so I was a little bit surprised how well I was doing. It had been a long time since I had played Halo. So Halo Infinite, I think the gameplay is great. Just the core gameplay is great. But I just felt like the game was kind of lacking as far as the content at the time that I last played this, which was in January. And I haven't touched it since January. And that's the thing. A lot of people were playing this game in November, December, January. And it kind of... people just stopped playing it. I think they released the season 2 for the multiplayer recently, so that's kind of a shame that people stopped playing it. I think the Halo core gameplay is super fun and super addicting, and I just really enjoy the core gameplay of Halo, and I always have. I think this game still feels like Halo, and it's not gonna... I don't think it's gonna blow you away if you were... I mean, I don't think it's gonna blow you away if you're just used to Halo and like Halo gameplay. I don't think it does a lot of things different than Halo does in the past, but I feel like this is like Halo with a fresh coat of paint. You know, it's the same gameplay that you've grown to love from Halo. And I did play the campaign, which I got a little bit bored of, to be honest with you. I don't think it was a good idea to make this game open world or semi-open world or whatever they want to call it. The campaign, it felt really barren. The open world felt really barren to me, and I felt like it just would have been better if they just made it like a linear experience. And I don't know. I wasn't really enjoying the main campaign and the story. So I just kind of like stopped playing. I think I played it for maybe like 10 hours. So, I mean, I may go back to it at some point. But like I said, I haven't been playing my Xbox. I haven't been playing Halo. And it was ever since Horizon came out in February that I just like stopped playing my Xbox. And just, someone with a full-time job, it's I don't have as much free time as I used to. So, do I regret buying an Xbox? No, because there's plenty of games that I'm looking forward to playing, so I have them ready. I have the console ready to play them for, so sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, I have a Switch, I have an Xbox, I have a PS5, but I play my PS5 probably 90% of the time. So, and there's nothing wrong with other platforms. I'm just a PlayStation guy, and I enjoy Halo, and I think from time to time I want to probably turn on my Xbox sometime this summer and go back to playing my Xbox a little bit. So I don't worry, I will try to play my Xbox again. And I mean, I paid over $500 for it. I hope to get some more use out of it, which I will. So yeah, so Halo Infinite, I think, has great gameplay. The gameplay is great, and I think, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a first-person shooter with fun, addictive gameplay, then I think Halo Infinite is definitely a good game to play. Another Xbox game here, which I wish I had got on PS5, looking back. I think I originally got Resident Evil 8 Village on Xbox just because I was thinking I want to have a game to play on my Xbox while I have a game to play on my PlayStation. So I'm like, and I think this was cheaper than the PS5 version, but the PS5 version would have had the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers, and Well, I mean, I just kind of feel like Resident Evil has always been more associated with PlayStation than Xbox. Um, and Resident Evil 8, I didn't finish either, but I did enjoy the game that I did play. I don't know. I think I got about maybe 65% through it, and I'm kind of a casual Resident Evil fan. I haven't played a lot of horror games, and I haven't played a lot of Resident Evil games, and I have never gone by a Resident Evil game either. But I'm thinking what I may do, I'm gonna get a PlayStation VR 2, which will probably be coming out next year, and they're gonna have a VR mode for this game. I may try to buy this game hopefully cheap on the PS5 and try the VR mode out for it. Or maybe I'll just replay it on or go back to it on my Xbox. But yeah, so I'm just kind of like a casual Resident Evil fan, horror fan. But I wanted to give this game a try because it got pretty good reviews last year. And some people thought this was the best game that came out last year. But yeah, I definitely a very cool atmospheric game, and if you're a Resident Evil fan, I definitely think you'll enjoy this. So, okay, so we're getting close to the end here, guys. Far Cry 6 I got at the end of last year. It's my first Far Cry game that I played. I believe it's set Cuba. And with Far Cry 6, I was kind of hoping this would be like a good chill game I could play while listening to podcasts, which it sort of is, but I don't know. I kind of just wanted to try out this game because I never played Far Cry before, and I don't know. I think I was just, at the time when I bought this, was just looking for a game that I could play for a lot of hours, which of course Far Cry games are very time consuming. You could put many hours into these games. And I don't think there's anything about this game that is exceptional, but I think it's like one of those good, like, if you're looking for a game, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on many games, or you just like to play a couple games a year, and I think this is a good game to have because you get so much playtime out of it, and there's so many things to do in it. And it's, even though I haven't played Far Cry before, I know that this is not anything different from the previous Far Cries. It's, Far Cry with a different coat of paint. And I have played around with the settings in this game, and I'm now playing on easy. It's just one of those games that I'm just gonna sit back and relax to, and I think playing on easy makes it a little bit more chill. And I think ever since switching it to easy, it has become more of a chill podcast type of game, and the UI is very noisy in these Ubisoft games. They're kind of notorious for that, but you can play around with the UI settings, accessibility settings, which I have a little bit. So I've been playing this game off and on ever since I got it, and I haven't picked up this game probably in a month at this point, but I probably will go back to it at some point if I don't have many games to play. So this will probably be a game I play off and on throughout this generation. But I don't think this game is anything exceptional. I don't think it's bad by any means. I just think it's, it's just a very vanilla open world game, but it's a very kind of cozy, familiar experience if you've played a lot of open world games. And this is maybe like a good, like, junk food game, if you know what I mean. So guys, I almost forgot about a few games. So I just wanted to quickly give my thoughts on a few more games here before I get into the last game I was going to talk about. So Life is Strange True Colors, I played in very early 2022, PlayStation 5, and it's my first Life is Strange game that I did play, and I actually got the platinum for this game, and I just enjoyed experiencing the story from this game. And it's, of course, a very story-focused type of game. It's like one of those Telltale games where it's a lot of dialogue options, where you picking different dialogue trees, and there's you can kind of shape the story in specific ways. And I thought it was a well-written game, and I thought it had some likable characters, memorable characters, and I thought it was just like a fun, short 8 to 10 hour experience to go through in early January. And the next game I want to talk about is Harry Potter, the Lego collection, which I did an unboxing for earlier this year. I haven't played it too much to really talk too deeply about, but I'm a big Harry Potter fan, grew up with the movies, read some of the books, and I'm actually looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy, which is slated to come out later this year, and I have watched the Fantastic Beasts movies as well. But Lego Harry Potter, I played a little bit of the co-op with my sister a few times she's visited, and yeah, I mean it's a good like chill, silly game to play, and kind of like you're going through each Harry Potter movie, and it's just like it's Lego, but it's giving its Lego spin on the Harry Potter movies. So it's a fun little game to play. It's not anything to take too seriously, but I enjoyed playing it. So I look forward to getting back to that from time to time, and probably be like a co-op game that I play with my sister whenever I see her. And then the last game I wanted to talk about, and I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, because I'm going to be looking at my phone right now to try to remember what it's called, but it's made by Lilimo Games, which, if you're not familiar with that indie studio, Colin Moriarty, who's one of the he has a podcast known as Sacred Symbols. It's a PlayStation podcast, and I listen to it every week. I quite enjoy Sacred Symbols. It's probably my favorite podcast to listen to. I listen to every episode. But they came out with Lilimo Games. I think he owns 50% of the indie studio, and they came out with the game Super Perils of Bacon, and it's this side-scrolling platformer, and yeah, I haven't played too many side-scrolling platformers, and I believe it's a 16-bit or is it 8-bit game. I didn't grow up in that time in gaming, but it's definitely a retro game, and it's quite challenging, but I do like the art style of it. I haven't played too many games that look like Super Perils of Bacon. I mean, I didn't really start gaming until the PlayStation 1 when we were in 3D era gaming, and this is really kind of like a throwback to the side-scrolling Super Mario games that came out on the NES and SNES before my time. But I enjoy the little that I have played of this game so far, and I like the character designs and the different just like sweets, like the cookies, and the level design, and the backgrounds of the levels I played. But yeah, it is a quite challenging game. But if you're looking for a good PlayStation podcast to listen to, I definitely recommend Sacred Symbols, and I want to support Lilimo Games just because I don't know, I really enjoy the podcast, and I follow Colin Moriarty on Twitter, and yeah, I mean, I just wanted to support Colin Moriarty, and I enjoy the little that I have played of this game. So let's go back to the recording, and I'm going to talk about one more game. All right, so the final game I want to talk about is Gran Turismo 7, and this is my first entry into Gran Turismo, actually, and that's pretty crazy considering Gran Turismo goes all the way back to PlayStation 1. And as I said before, I'm not the biggest racing simulation guy, but I am enjoying Gran Turismo 7, and there are this is more approachable than I thought it would be, and there's a lot of accessibility settings, and you can really fine tune the experience to play it for someone who's not used to playing these simulation racing games. And I actually do kind of find this game relaxing, or at least the music that they have makes the game relaxing. And you go into the story mode, it's a cafe mode, and it has like this very like relaxing music, and they're teaching you the history about cars, and you go all over the world racing on different types of vehicles, different types of tracks. And I mean, Gran Turismo has always been known for its high quality presentation and graphics, and I I find this game very relaxing, which I was not expecting to get out of a simulation racing game. Um, but yeah, and you can tell. What's it? Polyphony Digital is very passionate about cars. They talk about a wide range of history when it comes to cars, and uh, yeah, I mean, this is probably another game I'm gonna go back and forth to from time to time. I haven't picked it up in a few weeks, but I am enjoying it, and I hope to get through the main story, the cafe mode, which I think I will. Um, yeah, so I mean, this is gonna be like a live service game where they're, supporting through over the years, and they add new content too. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert when it comes to simulation racing, or I'm a great player of simulation racers, but you can fine tune this experience to make it a more casual experience, which I like. And this is an approachable game, and don't be intimidated if you haven't played simulation racing games before. So yeah, and I'm become a Gran Turismo fan out of this. So yeah, first Gran Turismo entry, and I'm enjoying it. It's relaxing. All right, there, guys. So that pretty much does it for the games that I played thus far. So we're talking about games that I played January through July 2nd of this year. So yeah, I played a decent amount of games. I just wanted to make this video, talk a little bit about each game, give you an idea of what I've been doing lately, and my gaming habits. And as I said, I've been playing just a lot of PlayStation 5 this year, and I'm just so invested in the PlayStation ecosystem, and there's nothing against, I don't have anything against the Xbox or Nintendo ecosystems. It's just, that's my ecosystem, it's the PlayStation ecosystem. That's what I'm familiar with. So I think it's a great time to be a gamer though, and I'm looking forward to the future of all consoles and all the games they're going to offer. So, and I didn't have any Nintendo games on here on this video because I haven't been playing my Switch. I bought MLB The Show 22 on my Switch, which I of course have the PS5 version, but I played that for like a few days. I didn't think, I'm not gonna, it's not any different than playing on the PS5. It's just PS5 graphics are a lot better, and there's a little bit more features. But yeah, I'm just wanted to kind of do this video, just give you like an update on where I'm at as far as gaming. And we're July 2nd of 2022 here, and we got a lot to look forward to. I'm excited about PlayStation VR 2, which is probably going to come out next year, and I've never played VR. We got God of War Ragnarok, which they have yet to announce a release date, but it's probably going to be coming soon. We got Starfield next year, which I'm looking forward to as a big Bethesda RPG fan. I enjoyed Skyrim a lot. Skyrim is one of my favorite video games of all time. Fallout 4 was my first Fallout. I enjoyed that. So I'm looking forward to Starfield. I know not everyone's crazy about Starfield, what they saw from the Xbox showcase, but I'm looking forward to it. And I think there is so many games that are going to be coming out that it's like overwhelming, and so many things to look forward to as a gamer on PlayStation, on Xbox, on Switch. So yeah, I probably will do more of these videos in the future, but I just want to kind of just give an update of where I'm at in my gaming life, I should say. So if you guys could leave this video a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I gotta say the support on my channel has been great recently. Subscribers have been going up a lot recently. I'm at at the time of this recording, 75 subscribers, which is just crazy considering where I was just a few weeks ago. I don't even think I was at half that. So I really do appreciate any support that you guys give to this channel, and look forward to more content, more Last of Us content, I should say, as well. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a good day there, and happy 4th of July for anyone in America.